Hey, everybody, welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar after show. I'm your host, George, and joining me for the after show is the instructor for today's class. Today's class was Cyber, No Biz Too Small, and our instructor is Mr. Kevin Amrhein. Kevin, welcome to the after show. It's great to have you here.
Pleasure as always, my friend.
Fantastic. So cyber, I if memory serves, you don't teach this one a lot, or do you? And you don't teach it with us? Is cyber because it's not, I don't know if it's not part of law. Is it interesting to teach? Is it easy to teach? Is it something everyone should understand so it's easy to impart why it's important? Do you like teaching it more than you like teaching about like unmanned vehicles, drones, stuff like that? That's a lot of questions.
It is. It's a lot to unpack there. We'll keep it simple. Yes, to answer your question, I do like talking about cyber. There is a keen interest in it. It's one of those topics that a lot of people are still interested in because a lot of people still don't understand what the actual core of the policies do. Some people have a very general idea of what cyber is, but they don't really understand the specifics of it. I like teaching it from an agent's perspective because the biggest problem, in my opinion, is that small businesses, which make up the majority of the books of business of most of the insurance agents that I work with, are just woefully or underinsured when it comes to cyber risk. Uh, the problem I think we run into is we either try to explain very technical concepts to insureds that don't understand them, or we try to make the coverage relatable to insureds that is not relatable at all. Because the big cyber incidents that we hear about, they're the ones that are, there's probably three of them in today's news feed. I mean, the ones that you see all the time. These are incidents that are occurring at organizations that are not good comparable to small business insureds. And so telling a small business insured that, well, did you happen to look at the news because, another Fortune 500 company got, you probably got 3 letters in the mail in the last month from large medical groups and banks and these huge organizations that constantly get victimized by this stuff. It gives a false sense of security to these small business people that they're not a target. So I like to teach that material from the perspective of an agent with a book of business of small business insureds as to how important cyber risk is for them as well, and give lots of tips on how to make it relatable to a small business. I hope it's successful, just so you can paint better pictures and sell more policies.
Sure. Do you think it's
Yeah.
something that our cyber breaches happen to companies of all sizes? Do you think that people might be more paranoid about dealing with like a captive agent who like, say, I don't want to say a company because I don't want to potentially impugn a reputation, but like
Right.
a large company that has a breach and people say, I'd rather not go to this company, this large company, even though I know the guy that runs the office. I'd rather go to Joe's Insurance. Do you think that kind of mentality could steer people away from large insurance companies and or the captive agents that represent them?
I don't know, frankly, if consumers are going to choose an independent agent because they're less concerned from a cyber standpoint.
Sure.
Um, I also, cyber breach. I don't want to split hairs over semantics here, but I prefer the word attack over breach. And the reason is because when you talk to insureds about a cyber breach, I think what they may think of is they've got a network full of data and somebody got into it. And that is obviously a concerning exposure. There are businesses that have no data, they don't have anything to steal, that are still targets for cyber criminals who are out there for the sole purpose to make it so that these small businesses cannot operate. and they will unleash various techniques to try to shut that small business down, to try to make it inoperable because they can't collect money if their website has been attacked, for example, and disabled because now they can't collect money. How else are their customers going to pay them? So I look at exposures like that, and I think less about like a breach of a network and more about I just got the virtual equivalent of punched in the face by some organization for reasons I can't really explain. It could be that they were hired by a competitor. It could be for no reason at all. And I talk about that in the class too. I talk about how smaller businesses, because of their vulnerability, can be testing grounds for bots, hackers, organizations that may have bigger fish in the crosshairs, but need experience. They need to see if these vulnerabilities actually are exploitable. And so they find smaller businesses to attack first. It's ugly business, man. It's really bad news. I don't like teaching topics that are so threatening. I really don't like to teach from that perspective. I don't want people to be scared. We try to, I've worked with you a long time. We do things differently. We try to keep it lighthearted. This is insurance. Everybody knows how serious this business is. You don't need to remind them of that every single day, that bad things can happen. But the lack of capacity in the cyber market for small business insurance is glaring. It's really bad. Way too many small businesses are exposed.
So I noticed you made a remark about splitting hairs. Is that your subtle way of telling me that my hair is really rocking today? Just that
that may have subconsciously inspired that statement. Compliments on the grill fire picture. I'm glad you're standing fast with that. I recognize
more on that
picture.
later.
That's from what?
Oh, okay. More on that later.
Right.
I liked your mixed metaphor too. I think you said something about shooting fish in the crossroads. I don't know, something like shooting. I liked it.
Targeting fish, bigger fish in the crosshairs. Yeah, I did.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't really shoot a lot of fish these days, do we? Maybe some people do. I don't know. Yeah, that's not a very good analogy either. The more I think about it, the less qualified I am to be having this conversation right now. I don't think anybody should take that class. If you haven't taken my class yet, please don't. It's not good. It's just.
It is.
I'm just off.
We'll talk about it later.
I'm a little off.
Yeah, Kevin, you're right. You look, you're right. No, it's a great class. Trust me.
No, it is. I like to think it's okay.
Absolutely. When did the ISO come out with that form? And do you think that legitimized cyber as an insurance risk, or what? And before that, was it kind of floating around in the oeuvre of, well, you better like an endorsement or something, like you better add cyber, or, you know what I mean?
Well, there have been several iterations of it over the years. The ISO does, in my opinion, that is a good form from a coverage standpoint. I think it represents a very good standard. Now, when it comes to cyber risk, people that actually are in the business and are out quoting various markets will tell you that the ISO form is not something you're going to see. I mean, cyber carriers, brokers, they're not selling a straight ISO form, but a lot of people aren't in a lot of different coverages. So they're going to tweak forms based on their own expertise, their own experience.
Right.
I use that form because the way that the ISO sets it up with the varying insuring agreements covers a lot of ground. So, the ISO form covers a lot of ground from both a first and a third party perspective. You're going to have insurers that aren't going to structure it that way, but the ISO form gives us a chance to see all these different angles of coverage that I think are necessary. If you set it up in that varying insuring degree way, if the policy set up that way, it could give a little bit more flexibility for businesses that maybe don't want to pay premium on every one of those insuring agreements. Maybe they just want the breach expense. Maybe they just want the business income coverage. I mean, the cyber market's all over the place, man. something is better than nothing. Something's better than nothing. And too many small businesses, they have nothing. Nobody is requiring these service risks, these retail risks. Nobody's requiring them to have this insurance. It's not like general liability. It's not like commercial property or work comp or something like that. And because they're not being required to buy it, they just assume it's not that important. And so my ilk continue to spread the word the best we can.
Your ilk. You mentioned you gave us us an anecdote in the class about a time that there was an attack or the threat of an attack that threatened you. And you said that you've got your own relationship with an IT firm. Do you think that it's smarter for people to like in terms of combating cyber, having someone in-house that is at your company, even if you're a small business that is on top of these things, or is outsourcing this to like a firm like you were talking about in your story? Do you think which is more prudent, or does it matter as long as you have an expert that's helping you?
As long as you've got it, if you are fortunate enough as a business to have the means to have access to somebody that can help you put this fire out, and that may be the insurance company. There may be no layer between you and the cyber insurance.
I got it. I get what you're saying. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it could be that the cyber insurer is the one that will provide the resources to help you. I'm fortunate enough, whether somebody's on the payroll or whether you're outsourcing to a firm, I can't speak to that. It's whatever the business can afford. I personally think that an IT focused person or team is a necessity, but that's real easy for me to say to a small business that runs pretty lean. They might not think so. And so what ends up happening in a lot of small businesses is, okay, well, who's the one that's always fiddling with their iPhone? They obviously know this stuff. Put them in charge of IT security. It's just somebody gets assigned the role that has really no qualification for it. My business, as I mentioned in the class, very small business. We're an online CE school. We're not a threat. Maybe another little online CE school might think we're a threat. We're not a threat to most people.
Right.
But our business is entirely online. All the classes we do, all the registrations we accept, all the money we take in. These people buy classes from us online. If we're down for even a couple of days and we have to cancel classes and we can't accept registrations, we're a small business. I won't throw out real numbers here, but I can't afford that. We can't afford to be down for multiple days. We don't have this huge layer of, profit that we're just sitting on, for contingency purposes. And most businesses don't. Now, in my example in the class, I was fortunate enough because of that relationship with I'll call them in-house security. We were able to combat the cyber threat that I give as my example in that class before it escalated to a point where we needed to go to a resource like our insurance company.
Right.
A lot of businesses are not that fortunate. So the cyber insurer would be their first line of defense.
Or possibly that savvy, but you being aware of it, thwarted it.
There is no way without that assistance, without the people that were available. And that's the other thing too. We got so lucky that not only did we have access to people who were able to identify the threat that was the attack that we were experiencing, and were able to diagnose how they were initiating it and able to close that loophole. We had that resource. But the really fortunate part was that we were able to engage that resource so quickly.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't have if we didn't have this resource, I mean, I think about all these small businesses where who do they call? I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to start Googling IT firms in my area and then hope that there's a team available to assist. I think it makes me icky just thinking about how bad that situation could have gotten and how quickly it would have caused damage had we not been able to cut it off.
Ilk
Thank
and
goodness.
icky, other I words.
Ilk
Uh,
and icky, man. Let's do it.
y-
I got a million of them.
Sounds like a sick Grease character, like Ilk and Icky.
Ilk and
Hey,
icky. Yeah.
got a Icky from Kid Icky.
Yeah.
Not me, but
A
Rizzo.
comic strip from the
Right.
60s.
Speaking of comic strips,
Ilk and icky.
Ilk and Icky, right?
Yeah.
Versus Cold and Graveyard, the haunted mice.
Yeah,
you
they
had
stopped the licensing fee for Beetle Bailey got to be too much for the local paper, so they went with Ilk and Icky instead. Local artist. I could do this all day.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we could have some Steve Canyon talk later. That'd be great. You man, you totally threw me off. I was gonna well, if I have that question will come back to me again, I guess. Man.
Yeah.
I think part of getting cyber insurance might be like when companies make you go through that cybersecurity awareness training, like you have to complete this before we will insure you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest? Because like if you win a steak package from Omaha Steaks, before you click on it, you want to let your cursor hover over the email. And I swear I got one time from hopketo@grilledcheese.com and I didn't click on it. What's the weirdest potential cyber attack email you've ever seen? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, man, do I have a favorite? Oh my gosh. People do. Fortunately, if you want to call it that, when you get into this business of talking about risk management with people, you get to see some things. And typically it's how sophisticated the attacks are nowadays, especially. Right. I mean, somebody will send me and they'll say, this is what our employee was presented. It's incredibly believable. And yeah, you look at it and you think, okay, well, I'll give somebody a pass because that's like identical to every other email that's in the same thread that they have with that individual. But as far as the real far-fetched stuff that you hope that there's just nobody left out there that's going to go for it, but yet the scams keep coming back to life. So there are people obviously that are doing it. I mean, I used to work with a guy years ago who clicked on everything. He had it in his head that he was not a threat. Why would anybody come after me? Why would I, And so it didn't matter what somebody sent him. And he got an email supposedly from me that was telling him that he had won tickets, or that I was transferring tickets to him that I had gotten in a drawing for the Oprah Winfrey, some event that she was having, and that I had gifted these tickets to him. And he started clicking on the link and was trying to get the tickets. And then he comes at me and he's like, well, why did you send me that? I'm like, yeah, why did I send you that? Why would I have ever sent you that?
Right.
We work together. Have we ever talked about anything like this? And I'm one office away from you. I'm just going to email you something like this without any context. So I mean, stuff like that comes up, and then, and this guy went through laptops like weekly. I mean, he couldn't figure out why every device he ever had was corrupted within, 48 hours of him taking it out of the box. But you see a lot, you see a lot of crazy things. The really scary ones, it's some of the bots out there that can purportedly infect an entire system just by sending an email, not even requiring you to click on something or download something. That's where it really starts to get weird, really starts to get scary for me. Insurance companies, cyber insurers that also emphasize risk management and run simulations with their insureds. I think that's extremely valuable experience. I love that cyber insurers offer that service. It's one thing to have the insurance. It's another thing to actually make sure that people understand how to identify threats, be safe, all that kind of stuff. I've said often it would be great if insurers that offer risk management services with their cyber cover that also insure things like homeowners policies and commercial property policies and auto policies would offer the same degree of risk management. But they're not going to send somebody out to your house and, show you how to fireproof your house. So anyway,
Kevin,
there's a lot of good stuff out there in terms of cyber risk management.
Kevin, who do you think is an easier Caddyshack character to have scammed with a cyber attack? The Bill Murray groundskeeper character or Judge Smales? Do you think, like, if Judge Smales saw free Fresca, he'd click on it more than the Bill Murray's character probably wouldn't have access to a computer. So maybe I've just answered the question.
No, this is the best question that I have ever been asked. It's a question no one has ever been asked in the history of questions. And I thought I had received every conceivable Caddyshack inquiry that there is. But who would be more likely to be victimized by a cyber attack between Carl the groundskeeper and Judge Smale? This is solid. That is a great question. Because it gives me a chance to really think this through. I mean, on one hand, Carl seems pretty gullible. Smales seems pretty analytical. I think that maybe he would be more skeptical, whereas Carl would be more impulsive, as evidenced by his desire to just blow things up and not really think through that, putting a bunch of explosives under a golf course could have adverse results. So on that level, I would say Carl. However, access to technology is required in this instance to be victimized in a cyber attack. And I'm not sure Carl has a phone or any connection with technology. So therefore, I would have to say the Judge is the more likely candidate.
Agreed.
How's that?
You've answered in the right way.
I'd have to say Smales is the one you got to watch out for. Thank you for giving me the chance to actually say those things over the last 2 minutes. That was fun.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
So my hair is rocking today, but I wanted to also wear this. Well, I don't know if it's going to fit over it's a Scotland hat.
Very nice.
And I wanted to quickly ask you about the Masters. Rory McIlroy, how are things going? Yes, I wanted to call attention to and I've got my golf sweater on.
Very nice.
So how's the Masters going for you?
Masters is going great. Today is the first round. I don't know when people watch this. This is recorded, so people may see it later, right?
As soon as a few hours from now, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're recording this on the first day of the 2026 Masters. So as of right now, you asked about McIlroy. He's doing great. He's off to a really hot start, doing really well. I think he just finished. Some of the big names are up there, man, and some of them aren't. I mean, it's the first day, but I think it's going to be a really great tournament. It's the Masters. The weather there looks perfect. That is like the greenest place ever. You just watch it. It's just great TV.
Augusta, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
Any golf fans become insufferable during Masters Week, and I'm including myself. Anybody that's not really into golf, when Masters Week rolls around, they don't want to be anywhere near people like me. It's awful. It's just awful because I can't talk about anything else.
Well, let me stop you there. I've got going on the bottom of the screen a ticker that if people can go to insurancejournal.tv/channels and they can go to podcasts and look up Golfertainment, which is a podcast that you, myself, and director of the Academy of Insurance, Patrick Raitt, are the co-hosts of. Patrick couldn't be here. This is dedicated to you. So we
He's
have
fine,
been
by the way.
we've been on hiatus for a couple of months, and we want to hear from you. You can go to the Academy of Insurance channel, the podcast channel on insurancejournal.tv, watch our episodes, and if you want to see more Golfertainment, George and the Florida Insurance Men. Email support@ijacademy.com, support@ijacademy.com, and let your voices be heard because, Golfertainment and the Florida Insurance Men. It's the best in insurance, golf, entertainment. Actually, it's where those things intersect.
It
Sometimes
is.
only
It's
on
the
that
only
podcast.
place. It's the only place. It's the only thing like it, man. It's the only thing like it. You're not going to find a golf insurance podcast somewhere else. I mean, come on.
I do want to ask you one last question about your company, the FISCE. Kevin, can you tell us more about it? Give it a plug.
Absolutely. So FISCE is Florida Insurance School Continuing Education. That is our school, the one I talked about earlier, that was almost victimized in a cyber attack several years ago now. We are located in Tallahassee, Florida. However, we're an online school. So if you are a licensee in the state of Florida, you can take any programs from us that you'd like. They're all available as webinars online. And if you are licensed in a state outside of Florida, we have an entity called the CE Partnership, and that is made up of independent and professional agent associations in various states around the country. The webinars that we offer through our school would be available through those associations in other states. So if you're a member of your state association, look at their education schedule. There are webinars there. They very likely are taught by myself or many of the other fantastic faculty that we have. So our product is available to licensees mostly everywhere. There's a few states that it's not available in, but there you go. That's the plug.
Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Anytime. Kevin, you look great today with the golf polo and Florida Insurance Man, FISCE, everything. Master's enthusiast, cyber insurance expert, anything. Visit ijacademy.com. Look up Kevin Amrhein. He's got some great classes on lots of interesting, an array of topics, and become a member. I know a guy that can help you out, and you can have access to all the Kevin goodness that we offer. So also insurancejournal.tv, Golfertainment, do it today. On behalf of Kevin, and thank you, Kevin, for your time today. I know we kind of went a little farther, but I had to get that Caddyshack question in. So
no, I'm glad you did. That was the best part. That was the best part of the whole. Cut all the cyber talk out and just play that part.
We're not gonna. Don't worry.
I know.
Yeah. On behalf of our instructor Kevin Amrhein, this is your host George. The class was Cyber No Biz Too Small. The instructor was, and always will be Kevin Amrhein. This is your host George saying thanks everyone for coming to the after show. We will see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Take good care.
Cheers.